Good
Hey,
afternoon.
Coach. Thanks for taking the time today.
hmm How you doing?
We'll get started here with Jeff Mosher and then Nick Fierro.
Hey, Dennard, how's it going? Nice to meet you virtually.
Hey, likewise.
Uh,
Likewise.
I wanted to ask you sort of a two-parter. They fold in about first about Avonte Maddox, and if you've had a chance to kind of watch his tape with the Eagles all the way back to his rookie year when he played some free safety along with corner, and kind of get your impression on where you think he most helps or can help the team in this defense. And then also along that line, just ask about how you feel about hybrid linebacker defensive backs in defenses, as we've seen a lot of in the last few years throughout the NFL, and if that's something that we should expect to see with the Eagles a lot.
Well, I have recall Avonte when he came out of college. He displays the same thing that he did when he was in college at all positions. Really, he's tough. He plays fast. He's physical. He loves to compete. He's had success playing out at corner, playing out safety, playing the nickel position. And for us going forward is, as we start to develop, as we start to go out on the field, we're gonna try to put him in the best position to help us win. So whatever position that end up turning out to be, it's our job to get him to play at a high level at that position and try to keep it consistent. And then
Do you
your
feel
second
like
question in terms of the hybrid, when I was with the Rams, we ended up having Mark Barron, and we converted him from safety to linebacker. It's a learning curve. I'm not saying that we will be doing that this year within our scheme, but some guys' skill set fits that way. If they're big, physical, athletic, can play the run, get downhill, underneath drop, it might fit certain player skill set. In this business, the more you could do, all right, that's how you stay around. So, if a guy has that ability, all right, he can play multiple positions. He'll probably make a roster. He'll be in the league for a while.
do you feel like you already have an idea of where Avante best fits and what you guys want to do?
Well, we just, we've gone through this off season, really no live reps. We've installed everything. He's a guy that takes attention to detail. I mean, he's taking notes on every position. As we get back, when we started preparing this off season, we'll see where he fits, and we'll put him in the right spot to maximize his talent.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Nick, and then Martin Frank.
Hi, Dennard. Nice to meet you.
Hey,
Um,
likewise.
the safety position, there's not a lot of experience there beyond the starters, and of course, Rodney might not be able to start the season coming back from that knee injury. So, in that, if that's the case, you have Anthony Harris, but he's coming from another system. How important is it going to be for will he be, especially if Rodney can't start the season for you?
Well, I look at this whole position, that whole room, the safety group. Man, it's all hands on deck. Okay, Anthony has played. A lot of other guys have played sparingly. When we get back, man, who's going to do the job at the best of their ability? Who's going to be productive? It'll shape itself out. All right, Anthony's good. He's good for the room. Rodney's good for the room because they have played a lot of ball in this league and have had success. But we got a lot of young guys that's hungry that actually want to get on the field and produce. So if Rodney's out, all it does is just create more depth. Guys get more reps. Guys get better. You learn by doing. You learn by being out there, and that's what we're going to ask them to do. The best man will end up playing.
Martin and then Les Bowen.
Hi, Dennard. Nice meeting you.
Likewise.
Um, you've had some really good defensive backs, obviously, when you were with the Jets and Jamal Adams and everything. Looking at a guy like Darius Slay, I mean, what does he add to the position? Like, how good do you think he still is and can be, and how much of a leader is he for this group going forward?
Well, it's been a pleasure to be around Slay. Um, First and foremost, he loves football. All right, he's a high character football guy. He works at his craft, even doing special teams and things like that. He's always trying to perfect his craft. Okay, he still has talent. He still can run. It's my job as a coach, and the reason I was brought in to get the best out of him. So whatever we need to do as coaching staffs, whatever I need to do to get the best out of him, that's what I'm willing to do. But he's all in. I love the way he competes. I love his attitude. I love the way he views the game. He's a smart player, high character. He's dependable. So just having all those intangibles is kind of it marries to some of the better players that I had. They love football. They're football junkies, and that gives him an opportunity to go out there and have success. He has a skill set. He just got to put it all together.
Go ahead, Les, and then John McMullen.
Hi, Dennard. Good
How
to
you
talk to you.
Likewise.
That corner opposite Slay, what are you looking for there? What would your ideal guy be in that spot?
I don't think you could put a certain type of player there. I mean, everybody has a different skill set. If you look around the league, every corner is different. You have guys that's big, guys that's small, guys that's more explosive out there break. Look, what we're trying to do now, especially this offseason, we worked on technique and fundamentals. All right, we worked on just the nuances of the game. All right, understanding where you're supposed to be, leverage, understanding break points, understanding stems. Whoever comes in and put it all together, because it's open competition, whoever comes in and put it all together, that's who you're going to see out there on Sundays. All right, so right now, and I can't tell you I'm looking for a specific thing. I think we have talent on this roster. I think guys we need to get the talent out of them. Allow them to go out there and produce, but it's no specific. I've played with all type of corners. Okay. It's not a specific skill set, body. It's just whatever they do well, they got to do well all the time. And if their body allows them to play the deep ball, that's what they got to do. If they're a quicker, faster guy, they got to win on quick and fast breaking routes. So it's not one specific player, not one specific attribute. It's who can put it all together and play smart, intelligent football and be productive.
So there's no way to say the guy that wins this job will be able to blank.
No, the guy that wins the job is going to be the best guy for us to go out there and compete and win.
Thank you.
John, and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Dennard. Nice to meet you virtually.
Yeah.
To kind of follow up on Les's question a little bit, just from a skill set standpoint, not a player perspective, is it more difficult for somebody who doesn't have length to play outside versus inside in your experience, or does it come down to technique and fundamentals?
I mean, I think it always comes down to technique and fundamentals, just like anything you do. I mean, as a person or anybody in life, you're not going to be great at everything. So the deficiencies you have, you got to work on them. So guys that are diligent and working on those deficiencies, they can mask them, they can hide them. From a scheme standpoint or from a coaching standpoint, you can put those guys in positions to mask those things as well. But it all comes down to this, and it comes down to eyes, technique, and fundamentals. And one thing that I'm not going to compromise for, or two things, is effort and toughness. So if they can do that, they can put it together, they look at the right things, they communicate, they're where they're supposed to be when the ball's in the air, when they run the ball, and they attack the ball with violence, that gives them a chance to play.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Mike K.
Hey, Dennard, nice to meet you virtually here. What's your personal background with Rodney McLeod, and what memories do you have of Zac McPhearson as the youngest McPhearson kid?
Well, I was on IR, I think in 2003 or 2004, and my head coach, Bill McGregor at DeMatha, asked me to come out and help a young up-and-coming coach, just DB play. So I ended up coming out there just to help, and when I got out there, I kind of fell in love with it. Rodney was one of the young guys. I think Rodney was a sophomore at the time. And we had a couple high-profile guys that were in high school at that time. And I kind of just fell in love with it. That's when I think I found my niche in coaching. That's why I made a decision to stop playing and start to coach. And I stayed for a year. Rodney at the time, the same characteristics he has now, it's the same things he had then. He was a hard worker. He listened. He was very coachable. He takes pride in everything that he does. And he played with this relentless effort. And he had toughness. And it carried on to when I had him with the Rams. And you see it today. He's earned his stripes, and he continues to get better. He loves the game. And then your second question about Zach. Zach's older brother actually was a couple years younger than I was at the University of Maryland. So he was in our DB group. At the time, we had a very good secondary. In my opinion, he didn't play a lot then, but he was one of those young guys that we brought under our wing and tried to help him exceed expectations and reach his potential. And Zac was one of those kids at the time because he was young. After games, he was one of those guys running around on the field at Bird Stadium. So, I kind of brought that up to him in our first interview. I know the parents, I know the older brothers, kind of know the story. So it's just a good reference point there.
We have time for 2 more, so we'll go to Mike and then Ed Kratz.
Hey, Dennard, nice to meet you.
Okay.
2 second-year players that you guys have, Michael Jacquet and Josiah Scott. What do you like about them, and how do you think they can kind of boost their stock this summer?
Well, both young men, they are explosive players. They're very quick, they're fast. Michael obviously has length. Being young in this league is about developing, right? And as a coach, it's your job to do 3 things. You got to teach, motivate, and inspire. And that's what I have to do with them. It's whatever talent they have, I have to do everything in my power, through time, through attention, to try to get the best out of them. Like I say, it's wide open competition, and the best guys, the guys that put it together, whether it's Michael, whether it's Craig, whether it's Josiah, whether it's Zac, who's ever here, the best guys that put it together, they'll go out there and they'll play. But those young men, they're all working, they're all smart, they're doing their best, and then when we come back, hey, it's time to go. All right, there's no hesitation, so they just got to be ready for the moment.
Hey, go ahead, Ed, and then we'll get Coach Rocker in here.
Hi, Dennard. As far as Zac McPhearson goes, when were you at the Hula Bowl? I know that's kind of where he really had a good week. And I know the Eagles had a couple assistants or scouts there. Were you at the Hula Bowl? And then what did you like about Zac in terms of the evaluation process, pre-draft, and then what were your initial impressions of him through these 3 weeks of OTAs?
Well, no, I wasn't at the Hula Bowl. Obviously, my first exposure to him was just actually watching game film. At first, when I first started looking at him, I didn't realize the connection. I didn't realize that he was a younger brother of a guy I played with. But when I watched them, they had very, very similar styles of play. The one thing that I really admired when I watched him on tape, he was resilient. If he gave up a play, he came back, he battled. He displayed last year, toughness and being able to tackle. He tackled extremely well. You could tell that he dedicated himself to it and he worked on it. And then obviously you see the top end speed and explosiveness. The guys, he's young. He doesn't know what he doesn't know right now, but he's willing to work, and he is right now just coming off this off season. He's a guy that wants to know the ins and outs, the whys. Where does he fit in the puzzle and the scheme? He's trying to put it all together, and if he can master it, if he can master it fast, it gives him a great opportunity to play.
Thanks for the time today, Coach.
Thank you.